Welcome to our deep dive into Kristin Hannah's The Nightingale. You've given us quite the challenge.
Oh, I know.
All 39 chapters, the
Yeah.
prologue,
Yeah.
the epilogue, the whole shebang.
The whole thing.
But we're ready to unearth the treasures hidden within this powerful story.
It is a very powerful story.
It is.
And
Very much so.
it's one that I think resonates deeply with readers,
Yeah.
especially given its setting in Nazi-occupied France.
Yeah.
You know, we often hear about the grand battles and the political machinations of World War II.
Right.
But The Nightingale offers, I think, a different perspective,
Yeah.
a more intimate look at the lives of ordinary people who are caught in the grip of extraordinary circumstances.
And it does so through the eyes of two sisters,
Yes.
Vianne and Isabelle Rossignol.
Correct.
And their journey, as we'll discover, isn't just about physical survival.
No.
It's about moral choices, resilience, and the enduring strength of family bonds.
How so?
Family is so important in this book.
It really is.
So right from the prologue,
Yes.
Hannah plunges us into a world of mystery.
Right away.
We meet an elderly woman
Mm-hmm.
on the cusp of moving into a retirement home
Right.
who unearths a hidden trunk filled with wartime mementos.
Oh.
A false identity card bearing the name Juliette Gervais emerges,
Okay.
and we're left wondering, who is this woman and
Yeah.
what secrets does she hold?
I know.
It's such a great hook.
It is.
It's like stumbling upon a hidden door in an old house, you know?
Yeah.
You can't help but be curious about what lies beyond.
Right.
And that sense of intrigue, that pull to uncover the past, really sets the tone for the entire novel.
It does. And that prologue isn't just a hook. It's a promise of the complex themes that we're about to explore: hidden identities, the enduring weight of history, and the question of whether we can ever truly escape the shadows of our past.
So let's step through that door, shall we? The story transports us back to 1939 France,
Okay.
a nation teetering on the brink of war.
Yeah.
We meet Vianne and Isabelle, two sisters with vastly different personalities.
Very different.
Vianne, the elder, is a picture of practicality, focused on her role as a wife and mother.
She's very grounded, you know?
Yes, very grounded.
She just yearns for stability, for the comfort of the familiar.
The known.
Yeah. And I think she represents a yearning for normalcy that many of us can relate to,
Of course.
especially during times of upheaval.
Yes, absolutely.
Right.
But Isabelle,
Yeah.
the younger sister,
Yeah.
she's a whirlwind of passion and defiance.
She's a firecracker.
She is a firecracker.
While Vianne seeks to maintain order, Isabelle craves a cause, something bigger than herself to fight for.
Yes, and this fundamental difference between them,
Yeah.
this clash between seeking stability and embracing disruption, is going to be a driving force throughout the novel.
It really is.
Their contrasting personalities, shaped in part by their emotionally distant father, a World War I veteran, haunted by his own experiences, become a lens through which we witness the war's impact on the human soul. It's almost as if they embody two sides of the same coin, one yearning for peace,
Right.
the other embracing the fight.
Yeah.
And then, of course, the storm breaks. May 1940, Nazi Germany invades, shattering the fragile peace and sending shockwaves through their lives.
Everything changes.
Everything changes.
France falls with stunning speed.
Yes.
And Vianne's world is just upended when her husband, Antoine, is drafted,
Right.
leaving her alone to care for their daughter, Sophie.
Little Sophie.
Yeah. And it's a moment that forces her to confront her deepest fears:
I can't imagine.
the loss of her secure world and the burden of responsibility thrust upon her.
And Isabelle, who we find causing trouble at yet another boarding school,
Always in trouble.
always in trouble,
Oh, yeah.
faces a different kind of upheaval.
Yeah.
The Nazi occupation of Paris throws her into a chaotic world where old rules no longer apply.
It's chaos.
Complete chaos.
Yeah.
She's forced to flee the city, joining a tide of refugees heading south, witnessing firsthand the brutality of war as it unfolds around her.
It's a very harrowing journey,
It is.
but it's also a crucible that forges her spirit.
Yeah.
It's during this exodus that she encounters Gaëtan,
Okay.
a young man who claims to be part of the French resistance.
Interesting.
And while their meeting is fleeting,
Yeah.
he plants a seed in her mind.
Uh,
The idea that resistance, however dangerous, is possible.
He sparks a fire in her, doesn't he?
He does this.
And as she makes her way to Vianne's doorstep in the small village of Carriveau, the contrast between the sisters becomes even more stark.
Yeah.
Vianne, desperately clinging to normalcy, is determined to keep her head down and protect Sophie at all costs.
Understandable.
At all costs.
But Isabelle sees compliance as a form of betrayal.
Yes.
She wants to shake Vianne awake, to make her see that staying silent is akin to accepting defeat.
Right.
And the tension between them just simmers, reflecting, I think, the broader struggle within the France itself to submit or to resist.
Their reunion is less a comforting embrace and more a clash of ideologies.
Very much so.
It sets the stage for the challenges they'll face, both individually and as sisters, as the Nazi occupation tightens its grip.
Exactly, and it highlights the complex moral dilemmas that lie at the heart of this story.
Oh, for sure.
You know, there are no easy choices, only shades of gray, as the sisters navigate a world where survival often comes at a cost.
A very high cost.
A very high cost.
As the occupation deepens, life in Carriveau transforms from peaceful countryside to a place of fear and uncertainty. The Nazis are everywhere.
Everywhere.
Their presence, a constant shadow.
Yeah.
And Vianne finds herself facing an impossible choice.
Yeah, the arrival of Captain Wolfgang Beck,
Oh, Beck!
a German officer who's billeted in Vianne's home,
Oh, wow.
marks a turning point in her story. Suddenly, the enemy isn't some distant force.
Yeah.
It's sharing her meals, sitting in her living room.
Imagine the internal conflict, the constant tension of having to be polite to the very person who represents the force tearing your world apart.
It's got to be so difficult.
I can't even imagine.
But she knows any act of defiance could have dire consequences.
Yeah.
Especially for Sophie.
Especially for Sophie.
It's really a masterclass in Hannah's ability to portray these nuances of moral compromise.
Yeah.
Vianne isn't a collaborator in the traditional sense.
Yeah.
She's a mother fighting for her child's survival.
Right.
In a world where the rules have changed overnight.
And all the while, Isabelle watches, judging Vianne's apparent acquiescence. But what Isabelle, in her youthful idealism, fails to grasp is the quiet strength it takes for Vianne to make these impossible choices day after day.
Yeah, that's the difference between the two.
Yeah.
Isabelle is driven by a fiery passion for resistance, for active rebellion. She seeks out the French resistance, diving headfirst into a world of sabotage, espionage, and dangerous missions.
And it's here that she truly becomes the Nightingale. This code name, a nod to her last name, Rossignol, is more than just an alias, wouldn't you say?
Oh, absolutely. The Nightingale, a bird known for its beautiful song even in the darkest of nights, becomes a symbol of hope and defiance in the face of Nazi oppression.
Oh, I like that.
Isabelle embodies this spirit,
Yeah.
guiding down to Allied pilots along the treacherous Nightingale route over the Pyrenees Mountains to safety in Spain.
Each journey is a gamble, a race against time with Nazi patrols constantly on the lookout. It's hard to fathom the courage it took for these resistors, for Isabelle, to risk their lives over and over again.
It's incredible bravery.
Incredible.
And their bravery is all the more remarkable when you consider the historical context.
Yeah.
The Nightingale route was a real lifeline for escaping airmen,
Really?
a testament to the courage of ordinary people who chose to resist.
Wow. So while Isabelle is risking her life on daring missions, Vianne is waging her own war on the home front. And it's not just about keeping Sophie safe from the physical dangers of war.
No, she's facing a very different kind of danger.
Yes.
As the Nazis escalate their persecution of Jews.
Right.
Her best friend, Rachel, is Jewish. And when the deportations begin, Vianne makes a life-altering decision.
What does she do?
She hides Rachel's young daughter,
Wow.
Ariel, in her own home.
Think about that. She's sheltering a Jewish child under the same roof as a German officer.
Unbelievable.
It's an act of incredible courage.
It is.
A quiet rebellion that could cost Vianne everything.
Absolutely. And it's such a pivotal moment in her transformation.
Yeah.
Vianne realizes that survival isn't enough.
Right.
That she has to actively resist, even if it means putting herself and Sophie in even greater danger.
Of course.
Her actions speak louder than any grand gesture of defiance.
Absolutely. And amidst the chaos and fear, there's a flicker of light in Isabelle's story.
Yeah.
She reconnects with Gatin, that enigmatic resistance fighter from her earlier journey. Their shared commitment to the cause, the constant threat they live under, it ignites a passionate love affair.
It does. But it's a love forged in the crucible of war.
Yes.
A bond that could be shattered at any moment.
At any moment.
And as we often see in wartime, tragedy strikes.
What happens?
When Isabelle is betrayed by a double agent
Oh, no.
and captured by the Gestapo.
They torture her relentlessly, seeking information about the resistance network. Yet, Isabelle, even in the face of unimaginable pain, refuses to break. She protects her comrades, clinging to her ideals even as her body is battered.
And it's a chilling detail, I think, that the Gestapo remains unaware they've captured the Nightingale.
Oh, really?
They're convinced the leader of the network is a man.
Oh, wow.
Which in a way offers Isabelle a twisted form of protection.
Interesting.
Her gender becomes a shield.
Yeah.
Even as it underscores the Nazis' underestimation of women's strength and resilience.
That's incredible.
It is, but that shield can only protect her for so long.
Yeah.
Isabelle is eventually deported to Ravensbrück concentration camp.
Oh, no.
A place designed specifically to break the spirit of women who dared to resist.
Ravensbrück was a nightmare of starvation, disease, forced labor, and constant brutality. The stories that emerged from its gates after the war are harrowing testaments to the resilience of the human spirit and the depths of human cruelty.
It's just horrific.
It's hard to even imagine what Isabelle endured within those walls.
I know.
Yet, even in this abyss of suffering, she finds ways to resist, to offer comfort to her fellow prisoners, to hold on to the faintest glimmer of hope.
She does, and I think it's a testament to Hannah's research and her skill as a writer.
Yes.
That she doesn't shy away from depicting the horrors of Ravensbrück.
Right.
But she also highlights these acts of kindness, the small rebellions, the ways in which these women held on to their humanity in the face of dehumanization.
Meanwhile, Vianne is facing her own trials back in Carriveau. Captain Beck, who at least maintained a veneer of civility, is replaced by a cruel SS officer, von Richter.
Oh, no.
His presence in her home becomes a constant threat, a source of terror for both Vianne and Sophie.
Just a horrifying turn of events.
It is.
And Hannah doesn't flinch from portraying the psychological toll of this abuse on Vianne.
Right.
But even as she endures this personal hell,
Yeah.
she continues her quiet resistance.
Her network of support for Jewish families grows. She hides more children, forges documents, becoming a lifeline for those targeted by the Nazis. It's as if the danger, the injustice, fuels her determination to fight back in whatever ways she can.
It's such a powerful contrast, isn't it?
It is.
Isabelle's resistance is bold,
Yeah.
visible,
Right.
and ultimately leads to her imprisonment in Ravensbrück.
Right.
Vianne's resistance is hidden,
Yeah.
subtle,
Yeah.
but no less courageous.
No less courageous.
And both forms of resistance come at a tremendous personal cost.
As the war reaches its climax in 1944, the tide begins to turn. The Allies are pushing back, but for Isabelle, trapped in Ravensbrück, freedom seems like an impossible dream. Then liberation finally arrives. But it's a bittersweet victory.
It is. The years of deprivation and brutality have taken their toll on Isabelle.
I can imagine.
She's physically and emotionally shattered, a shadow of her former self.
It's...
She returns to Vianne, desperate for the comfort of her sister's love.
Right.
But the reunion is heart-wrenching.
I bet.
You know, it's a poignant reminder that even in victory, there are casualties.
Oh, yes.
And the wounds of war can run deep.
And then, just as they find each other again, Isabelle dies in Vianne's arms. It's a devastating loss, but it also underscores the enduring power of their bond.
It really does. Such a powerful moment.
It is.
And as France begins the long process of rebuilding,
Right.
Vianne is left to pick up the pieces, to grapple with the loss of her sister, the trauma of her experiences, and the weight of the secrets she carries. It really makes you wonder how anyone recovers from such profound loss and trauma.
It's hard to imagine.
Yeah.
And that's the question that hangs over Vianne as she tries to rebuild her life in the aftermath of the war.
Right.
She adopts Ariel,
Oh.
honoring her promise to protect Rachel's daughter.
Mm-hmm.
And she tries to create a semblance of normalcy for herself and Sophie.
But the past,
Yeah.
it isn't so easily buried, is it? The memories of what she endured, the choices she made,
Right.
and the shadow of Isabelle's death linger.
For decades, she keeps her wartime experiences hidden, shielding her children from the darkness she witnessed.
I see.
But secrets have a way of surfacing, don't they?
They always do.
Yeah.
And that brings us back to the elderly woman in the prologue. Remember that hidden trunk filled with wartime mementos?
Oh, yeah.
It's Vianne, all along, finally ready to confront the past she's kept locked away for so long.
It's as if the weight of those secrets has become too heavy to bear any longer.
Right.
She realizes she needs to tell her story,
Mm-hmm.
to honor Isabelle's memory, and
Yes.
to acknowledge the sacrifices they both made.
It's a powerful step towards healing.
Is.
a way of bridging the gap between generations and ensuring that the stories of those who fought and suffered are not forgotten.
And so she decides to finally share the truth with her son. It's a recognition that the past shapes who we are, and that by sharing our stories, we can help others understand the complexities of history and the enduring impact of war.
And there's a beautiful symmetry to the novel's ending.
I love that.
Vianne attends a ceremony in Paris honoring Isabelle's heroism.
Wow.
It's a public acknowledgement of the sacrifices made by those who resisted in the shadows, a testament to the courage of the Nightingale.
For Vianne, it's a moment of closure, of catharsis, of finally allowing herself to grieve the sister she lost and to celebrate her legacy.
It speaks to the importance of remembrance,
Yes.
honoring those who fought for freedom,
Right.
even if their battles were fought in secret. It reminds us that history is made up of countless individual stories, each with its own complexities and triumphs.
So as we conclude our deep dive into the Nightingale, what stays with you? What insights resonated most deeply?
For me, it's the contrasting paths the sisters take, their choices reflecting the different ways we can resist oppression.
Yeah.
It's a reminder that courage takes many forms, and that even the smallest acts of defiance can have a profound impact.
I'm struck by the novel's exploration of moral ambiguity, the idea that there are no easy answers in wartime.
Oh, absolutely.
Vianne's choices, in particular, challenge us to consider what we would do in the face of impossible circumstances.
And the novel's ending, with Vianne finally sharing her story, underscores the power of truth-telling, of breaking the silence that often surrounds trauma and loss.
Yes.
It's an invitation for us to listen to the stories of those who have lived through difficult times, to learn from their experiences, and to carry their memories forward.
The Nightingale isn't just a historical novel.
Well,
It's a timeless story about the resilience of the human spirit, the enduring bonds of family, and the complexities of courage and sacrifice. It's a story that stays with you long after you turn the final page.
and it leaves us with a question to ponder. How can we ensure that the stories of those who resisted, who fought for freedom and justice, continue to be told and remembered?
It's a great question.
What can we do to honor their legacy and to live up to the ideals they fought for?
Those are questions worth reflecting on. And with that, we conclude our deep dive into Kristin Hannah's The Nightingale. We hope this exploration has sparked new insights and encouraged you to delve deeper into this powerful story.